Anna Glowinski on TRE in the afternoon.
AI, artificial intelligence. It's something that we can't ignore it. It has hit our world and it's hit it hard. I've been using it already this afternoon, helping with prep for my show. And I don't think that all my co-presenters use it as much as I do, but I think it's an absolutely fantastically useful tool, but not without its scary parts as well. But Akli Adjaoute has written a book called Inside AI, and he's going to be breaking it all down. The fact, the fiction, the myths that we can throw out the water, and also about how organizations and individuals can make the most of it. Akli, hello, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing very well. Nice to meet you.
Really nice to meet you, and apologize.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, no, absolute pleasure. Really looking forward to speaking to you. And as I say, apologies for keeping you waiting a little bit there. But let's just go straight into this hot topic, everything that you know about artificial intelligence. Why in the first place did you decide to write this book? What's your background with AI?
You know, AI is probably older than your father and mother. You know, AI is not something that just happens today. So I think it's impressive, the value that companies are bringing to the market. So the reason I decided to write the book, because actually it's I was lucky to have with me on the board someone from United Kingdom who is the head of Interpol, the International Police. And so we, one day he said to me, you know, you build a company right here, and we sold it to MasterCard. And so the company applies AI for fraud prevention and Homeland Security, actually. We are involved in the largest Homeland Security project in Europe. So, you know, when I sold my business, he said to me, you know, I think it would be good for you to share your experience about AI. And it actually took me 3 years to write it. And I had over close to 100 people reviewing it. So it's, I guess my goal was to demystify the field, explain it. And, you know, it's... I don't think there is a perfect book, but honestly, I did everything I could to help everyone understand the field.
And in terms of understanding then, what actually is AI? What types of things are we talking about?
Yeah, it's a great question.
And it sounds like the most basic question, doesn't it? But actually, it's a minefield.
It's a lot of people ask. It's just like even my daughter and my son initially was like, what? So, you know, it's a computer. So computer understands, you know, people have to think that a computer, actually, it's like 0 and 1, you know, it's just like on, off. So it's more like advanced mathematic formulas, but mainly it's based on the data. So it's just like, for example, when I was young, if you were good in math, they would tell you you're a genius. Then you can go to Walmart and buy, or a new store and buy like a calculator for $1, and the calculator is better than you. We don't say that's really intelligence. So AI expanded that to text, to anything that can be actually put in a computer. So it's really, really, really impressive. So now what I'm doing, my company, I have a new company that invests in technology companies, whether it's healthcare, AI, and I'm fascinated by the number of, I would say, niche application that AI can bring value to. So the response to what is AI? AI is like taking data, learning from it, and applying what the algorithm that the human world learned for you, for me, for everyone. It's like when you use ChatGPT, it's impressive because if for someone, for example, that don't know how to write English or translate, it does things that was nearly impossible before. So AI is math applied to data to help you do things way better than you could do.
Absolutely. Got it. And then many businesses really should be adapting to using it more and more if they want to keep up, because AI takes so much manpower out of things. But maybe they don't know where to start. What would be the first things that you'd be saying to people to start being able to integrate AI into their business? I suspect that depends what business you're in, obviously, because there's so many different applications for different ways of using it. But as a general rule, people who want to sort of open their eyes more to this world of artificial intelligence and how it can help them with their businesses, what should they be doing?
I actually learned myself, we were lucky to be very successful, but some applications were not successful because we thought AI, for example, we tried to apply AI to, in the biotech field. Number one, we did not have the data. Number two, we did not understand the field, and the people, the expert in biotech, did not understand AI. So I think you start really with, you have to find a project that you understand, you have data about it, that you know, number one, that what you're doing now is less efficient or can be more efficient. But I would start really small, because I had a dinner yesterday with a friend of mine who manages one of the largest company probably in the world when it comes to fintech. We were talking about investment, and so we have a friend who's based in Texas, and went to a project. They spent close to $200 million, and the project failed. No. So you have to be very careful about what you do. If you try to do way more than you can because you hear AI. And so my advice is just start small, and learn from it. Don't just jump on the biggest project. And then the key is literally, it's like cooking. You have to start doing small things because you become like a chef. Maybe it's not a good example, but I wanted to say, don't try to do things that are essential to your business, because if it's not working, then you'll be losing a lot. But if you start with small things that are important, and you learn from it, then you can keep doing it.
Okay, so don't run before you can walk, essentially.
Exactly.
And what about the fear that AI is going to be replacing people's jobs and people are going to be out of work? What's your take on that?
Nonsense. I mean, it will replace, for example, I'll give you an example. I hope they will not be mad. But when you have, for example, we had sometimes executive assistants say, hey, can you correct this? Can you do this? Now, ChatGPT can do that. But of course, executive assistant job is way more important than that. So you can take small things from them. But I think the key, which is extremely hard for people to understand, is that AI does not understand anything. When I say this, people are, you're insane. How is it possible? Because AI, it's like guessing. It doesn't know the meaning of, like when we're talking, when I say about the ocean, when I talk about, life, the true meaning of what the word means is, it's not just word. It's way beyond that. So when it comes to, even in legal, when you do you can help. In healthcare, I do believe, actually my PhD, I did it in France in healthcare, I'm sure before you were born. And we saw the benefit of applying artificial intelligence to fields. And I'm probably one of the most successful guy in AI because I built a company and sold it for a lot of money. I'm not allowed by MasterCard to say it, but it's hundreds of millions of dollars. But, so I understand the value of AI. I understand it. But again, when people think that AI is going to replace, look, again, I mentioned the project of my friend here. Even cars, when we talk about autonomous car, I hope I'm not going to be political, but I have an admiration for Elon Musk. For me, Elon Musk is probably I really believe it, is, if not the smartest human on the planet. Everything he touches works. I'm not getting political, but it happens to see what he does. And he thought that by 2018, every car would drive by itself. And they spent billions and billions and billions. You see Ford, after $27 billion, they just killed the project. Can do it. And in San Francisco, where I live outside San Francisco, you see all these car Waymo, but they drove for 10 years. And San Francisco is a small city, tiny city. So you be blind and you learn it. If you keep walking the way Waymo is doing, even if you are blind, you will find it. So you have all this camera, blah, blah, blah. And people think, but why are they not having Waymo on the freeway? Why not having Waymo? I think since you're based in Europe, in my book, I talked about, in Paris, in the Champs-Élysées, there is an Arc de Triomphe where the cars turn.
Yep.
Go ahead and drive an autonomous car there. So I think, yes, AI will help. What I see is a combination between human and machine. And I think it will be phenomenal for every field. But I honestly doubt it that AI will create more jobs because there are more other opportunities. And it will not be able to do the soul of what human is because AI doesn't have common sense. In my book, I took talked about imagination, intuition, creativity. AI doesn't have an intuition. AI doesn't, and there's no common sense on AI. And this is the basis of what makes us as human, that when you build something, when you create something, it comes from something that does not exist. That's what creativity is. With AI, you have to give something to AI to learn from it.
Although, isn't it Einstein that said that creativity, or the best inventions are the people that just hid their sources best? You can't have a completely unique individual idea without it having stemmed from previously informed knowledge.
It depends. But that's called I would say analogy. You can take something and you move it to another thing. That's what I did my PhD. I was reading a book that was written in 1620 something. And it was from that book, I actually, my PhD, I said that. And I had an idea that I was looking for years. So that's something AI is not able today to find. It's not possible. Because there is no link in the data that will allow you to do that. Now, if you want art, you mix art. You know what's art? You're in Spain. You know what Picasso said. You take just mix it, and people think it's phenomenal. Maybe in art and everything, but when it comes really to creating new things, I don't see anything today. I repeat, zero, that was created by AI. Without the help of humans. Nothing.
Yeah. See, an interesting point. I actually got into an argument with AI yesterday on my phone. So I had Google Gemini installed on my phone as voice command, and it previously was Google Assistant. And I have automatic gates to get in and out of my urbanization. So I said, hey, Google, call bottom gate. And it's doing it now. My phone's waking up and doing it now. So all it was doing was then writing call bottom gate. It wasn't actually, and now it's doing it. This is so annoying. Now it's calling bottom gate. Can you believe it? So yesterday it wasn't calling bottom gate. It was just writing call bottom gate. And I got really frustrated and I was like, why do you keep doing this? And it responded in such a sort of humanly empathetic way that you knew it couldn't be human. It was like, I understand that you are feeling frustration about not being able to call the bottom gate, and your solutions for this could be, and it is, such an automatic way of responding to me that it was just so ridiculous trying to have an argument with a computer, basically.
And by the way, the guy who created Siri was a friend of mine, Luke Julia, wrote a book. You know what's the title?
No.
Artificial Intelligence Does Not Exist. This is the guy who created Siri.
Wow.
He's saying artificial intelligence does not exist. Of course, no one wants to listen to him because what are you talking about? Oh, billions are invested here. And I think a lot of people that really understand the field see the value, but I think it's over. The hype is, it's the press. People like to I remember one time I was driving to work and I listened to NPR, which is like in the US, the public radio. And I'm driving and I hear AI at Facebook created its own language and people are scared, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? And I told my friend, I was driving with a guy, and I said, they should call 911. This guy must be crazy, like insane. And so the news, when they get that type of information and they report it, an average person will believe that AI is so beyond anything. So I think it's good that you just mentioned that. Again, they would not have paid me all that money if my company did not bring a value to businesses. My company does over 200 billion transactions a year. 200 billion.
It's quite a lot.
Yeah, it's I think you are from UK.
Yeah.
I was proud to do I had a partnership with Workday in UK, and we were doing over half of the economy of United Kingdom that I was secured. So AI can help, but I'm glad you're doing this because I wish more and more people are educating people. I think when you ask only great question. How do you apply it? What is AI? What's possible? So when you understand its power, its limitation, you'll be successful.
Fantastic. So your book actually sounds like a really rational take on allaying people's fears about not getting carried away with, headlines in the press and sensationalism. It also sounds like it's got a practical use, helping people learn how and when to apply it for their own use. Is there anything else that you'd like people to take away from your book?
Whether it's my book or other books, I think it's the AI is here to stay. I think it's really important for everyone to understand it. And one of the other reason I wrote the book again was I wish that every kid will get the chance to understand the power of AI and probably learn it and become an expert in it. Because I got a lot of successful parents that call me, what should I do? What should this? And I come from a really, my family had limited resource, nothing, poor. No one gives us any advice about what we do, what we're doing. I mean, I even myself find surprising, why did I do AI before? So the book was my goal was to educate people, help them understand it for their business and mainly for their kids. And there are a lot of books, but, honestly, I did everything I could to share my experience in the book. And again, I want to use your station to thank all the people that helped make the book the way it is. So that's the only thing I wanted to add.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time this afternoon.